Hey everybody, this is Rachel from Blue Jane Creations. I am finally getting back to the quick craft room update that I had mentioned about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I am finally going to get to it, and in this one, my intention is to just stay focused on what I did to maximize the space rather than going on about what I have, because I think I did too much of that in the initial craft room tour. So I'm going to start on the same side of the room as I did in the first one. And like I said, I'm going to keep this as brief as possible. The one thing I want you to also take into account is that these are just recommendations on things that I've picked up through trial and error, through watching other videos. So don't take this as, I mean, this is what you have to do. I only want to show you ideas to kind of help you get past any blockage if you're having trouble figuring out how to maximize the space, and that kind of thing. It's not that you must do this, because I think I said in the craft room video the first time, the craft room I think is very personal, so you have to personalize it to what works for you. So I only want to show you ideas of what I've done, that works for me personally, but just to kind of maybe get you to think outside the box. So obviously you can see in here that I don't have completely matching furniture. Most of it does, but right now that's okay because the investment is in what I have to make the craft room function rather than what do I put the stuff on. Of course, my dream is to be able to be told I can go to IKEA and pick out a whole new craft room. But since that's not going to happen just yet, we're going to stick with what we got. And like I said, the money, the time, and the focus is on utilizing the tools and getting them in the craft room to get me set up to go forward. So in any case, over here in the corner, I had moved a few things around. These little brown drawers, they were stacked on top of each other, but for me it works better to break them apart. So if you have a storage system, don't feel locked in that they must stay stacked on top of each other to utilize the space. So here it was better to put it sideways and have access to the drawers because they fit better going in that direction than blocking the little aisle that I have here to get to the shelves. And then you'll see in here I picked up a couple of cards to kind of free up the things that I use a lot, but that take up a lot of room on the desk where some of the stuff I was keeping it. So the cards are really handy. You can load it up with things that you use all the time and then wheel it out of the way on the days that you're not using it. So like I said, these two go together. I could have kept them stacked, but it worked better to break it up and split them off where the one pokes out this way, and then I have the shelves, the bookcase here. And then I think I had mentioned in it, also don't be afraid to stack your shelving units. If they are capable of stacking safely, then do it. These are actually, I'm going to come in here, you can see the dividing line. These were actually two separate 9-cubby bookcases. And for me, it made it easier and it maximized the space by stacking them on top of each other. And then up here at the top, you can see the stuff that I don't normally get into. I've moved up here, although I would caution you, be sure that if you're going to stack up, that you can safely reach it. So I'm about at the max height that I can reach. I was blessed with a little extra long arm. Even though I'm not particularly tall, I do have a little more reach than some. So, like I said, I'm probably at the outside. So make sure you can reach your stuff safely if you are going to stack up to maximize. But like I said, I put the things in here that I'm not going to use a lot up and out of the way, but yet when I do need them, I have access and I'm not digging them out. And then this little bag here, This is a collection I've started. I'm not ready to do a giveaway yet, but I have been collecting stuff to hold on to. And at the point when I can finally start doing that to share stuff, I absolutely will. So, like I said, I got the cart. This one is being utilized for the some of the ink sprays, the ink markers, the gessos, things like that, where I can fit them all on here. These suckers hold a lot of stuff. But again, I can easily wheel it, and I've got it back in the space where it fits and it's tucked out of the way. And then I had these ribbons in the closet, but I needed to use the drawers that they were in for backup glues, extra roll tapes, things like that that were cluttering up my workspace out here in the desk area. So I transferred the ribbon to these units I got them on sale. Joann's had a buy one get one 50% off or something like that. I think it's been about 3 weeks ago now, maybe almost a month. I've been rating so many of the storage sales, I'm losing track of when and how long have I had them. So here, not only do I have access to the ribbons now, because out of sight can be out of mind, and I like to use these ribbons a lot, but to be honest, half the time in the old storage, I would forget what I had. So now they are out, and again, they're at a height where I can comfortably reach it for me. And it freed up the drawer space that I needed for the stuff that was cluttering up my workspace. So I definitely recommend when you set up any storage, think of your desk. If you have the capability to go up, then I would definitely do that. I'm going to move this light. Hopefully that's not too wonky. And I know my flooring is not perfect. I'm still on the plan to cut out a chunk of the carpet and lay down some tiles, because it's actually not safe having a roller chair as it's set up right now. I have almost brained myself falling, so I have to be careful. I need to get some actual tile down here, but that'll be a separate video when I finally get around to that. So like I said, I'm not going to go through what I have, but the way that I structured this was to keep the things that I will use most frequently. Like I have some extra cards and envelopes and all that are roughly in here. There's some more over here. There's some extra glues and things that I need to keep on hand. And then I have my stash of the wooden stamps, because again, out of sight is out of mind, and I forget all these fun stamps that I have to use when I'm working on the cards. And, just kind of stuff like that. Think about what you want to use and how often, and I would pad that stuff around your working space so it's within easy reach. One, so you can see what you have, how much you have, and remembering to use it, right? So here's another cart. This did have some, I forget what was in here now. I can't remember. It was a lot of something. But in any case, it worked out better for me to convert this to the die cutting and embossing supplies that I have. This isn't all of the die cutting stuff, but it's the things that wouldn't fit in the case that I have for the smaller dies. And then this also sets it up. I had to convert over to an electric die cut machine when I'm doing bulk die cutting, because with the work that I do as a lunch lady, I'm lifting so much heavy stuff every day, Monday through Friday. My left arm is just starting to become toast, especially my elbows and my shoulder. So I needed to get something where I can bulk die cut easily and then just save the crank machines for when I don't have a lot to do. So I need both in my life. And I got it for a good sale, so that's also a bonus. So like I said, think about what you need, what do you have to have the most access for, and what do you need the easiest access to? So for me, instead of hauling this back and forth um, from where I had it set up over here in the corner where these bins are, because the machine is not exactly light, it's not super heavy, but for my elbow, I think anything besides like a 2 pound package is heavy. It makes my elbow hurt. So now I have the ability to wheel the cart out. All I literally have to do is plug it into the power strips that I have right here. I can use it, and then I can just unplug it and then park the cart when I am done. And I don't have to worry about lifting it. Um, so like I said, you want to maximize space, you want to maximize what you need, and you want to maximize ease of use, particularly if you're like me and you have issues with your elbows, your hands, your shoulders, anything that constantly lifting something like this would be difficult. So I'm trying not to talk too fast, but I know I blab, so I am trying to stay on focus. Because, we could talk about all the pretty stuff that we have. And the stuff you see out here, like on the table, this is what I'm currently working on. I'm trying to finish off the stationery kits that I didn't get a chance to finish them before the fall shows. So if we're able to get into some spring craft shows, I need to have these ready. That is what I chopped all that paper for. And then I also will not lie, part of the time that was taken away from the craft room tour. First ever card making kit from Shiny Silver Treasures. This is her kit, Vintage Treasures. And Dawn, if you're seeing this, I am keeping your kit right behind me in my craft room so I have access every time now that I want to go and play with it. So if you haven't caught them yet, I have some videos out helping to promote her first ever kit. It is awesome, and she is wonderful. So if you don't want to check out the videos I did on mine, please go to Shiny Silver Treasures and subscribe, or check her out at her Etsy shop, also of the same name, Shiny Silver Treasures. So that is the small promo I wish to do for Dawn. But it really is a beautiful kit, and I have had a ball making some stuff. So anyway, moving on. I've got these little shelves here, and again, utilizing them for things that I need to remember to use that I forget. And I needed a space for the scoreboard because, it can be difficult constantly lifting it up and down. So the higher up supplies are things that I only need to take down every once in a while. So that will spare my elbow. And then the rest of the things I will bring down that are within easier reach. Obviously I'll be using a lot of my ink pads, which unfortunately I had them on my desk, but it takes up too much room and the thing blocks the light from the window. So I had to relocate it back to where it is now, but I figured if I can't just spin around in my chair and grab it, then that's just me not doing what I can do, right? So, I also had to make some decisions on weeding some stuff out, because I think that's the thing that we can run into, because our impulse is to hold on to so much stuff. I use the same rule that I do with my clothes. If I haven't looked at it, worn it, or touched it in 6 months to a year, move it on. Either get it to somebody that could use the crafting supplies as a donation, directly, or if I don't know anybody that could use it, then I take it to the resale shop. So they have been getting a bunch of stuff. Also think about keeping what you're using, or I'm sorry, using what you're making accessible. So obviously my first love is making cards, and not all of these are completed, but to keep from forgetting the card bases that I had chopped down with all this paper last December. Or was it 2 Decembers ago? No, it was last December. I needed to use up a bunch of the paper pads that I had been holding on to, And so I turned them into card bases to restock my stash. So like I said, you can see all these bins up here. I've separated them out by category. And then I divvied out the blank quote unquote card bases that I had chopped down per category and added them to the bins. So something like this could help you keep track of how much you have, how much you need to make, and it's accessible. So instead of now taking down this huge bin that I had that had all these card bases in there that I was waiting to use, which is tremendously heavy. Again, to spare my elbow, it was far easier to break it up and put it into these bins. So again, this is not saying this is what you must do. It's only to give you the ideas of what you can do and how to kind of get yourself to think out of the box if maximizing your space can be tricky. Finding a place for this guy. It's got all my beading and jewelry, tools and everything are in here. But I needed to put it in a place that kept it stable because on its own it was too wobbly. So you can see my fly rope. It's actually twine, I think, baker's twine, that I use to attach it to keep it stable. But now I have access to the drawers and I don't have to worry about it tipping over or breaking or anything like that. So again, it's kept at a height where I can reach everything, but it's in the best stable place that I have for it in here. So like I said, think about what you're storing in, uh, what's going to be a good place for it in terms of stability, access, blah, blah, blah. Okay, moving on. This was also a dilemma. We do not have a huge house. I think the entire house is 1,000 square feet. You know, my husband is 6'3", my son is somewhere between 6'7" and 6'8". And, you know, space fills up quick. So I was trying to think outside the box. I need places to let stuff dry, like when I do my gluing or paint or especially like the Nuvo drops. I need to put these things somewhere to allow the drops to dry without smearing them. Well, I only have so much counter space in the kitchen, and then then it's getting in the way if people are coming out to make a snack or making dinner, things like that. So again, this is just a recommendation, but I needed something to put in here where I can easily assemble it because you can disassemble it. This is technically a herb drying rack or a flower drying rack. I think it could also be used for laundry. So it may be used as those things, but its immediate future as I work through these cards, right? If I'm using the Nuvo drops, now I have a place that's out of the main body of the house and it gives them space to dry and I don't have to worry about accidentally smudging them because they have to sit in my workspace. So you can see I kind of figured out how to put it together and this bottom part is wrong, but that's okay. I've got it sorted now. And again, I need stuff that can be packed up and put away because I have such a limited amount of space. So you might have to play around a little bit on how you work what you're doing, but that's totally fine. You know, it can take a few times of moving stuff around till you get the right feel. So for me now, I think I'm about at the maximum functionality here in the craft room, but I have access to everything in some fashion. Either the stuff like I said, I don't use a lot, I can still get to it. And I have stuff like in here, this isn't the stuff that I'm always getting into, but again, it's accessible. And for me, like bins like these, can you see what you have? Can you see how much you have left? Things like these makes it easier. And as you go through and you settle into it, you will find what works for you. So like I said, this is not a you must do this. Again, it's only reiterating how you can kind of think outside the box. So I took all these shelves and utilized. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. I rated the Dollar Tree that it was better for me to maximize these shelves by breaking out the papers by color, but I have them stored in bins where they stay flat and they don't get all bunched up. So in here now, I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. I've got background papers that I've chopped up. Here you see my paper pads, which can be heavy. So I needed to bring them down a little bit. The last spot I had them in, it was kind of too heavy for my elbow to be bringing them. So now all I got to do is kind of pull out the basket. I can flip through my pads, take out what I need, and work with it as opposed to constantly lifting this whole thing. Because when you're on a roll, it's so frustrating to stop and have to, oh, I need glue. I need a glue stick. And then, where did I put it? And then, is it crammed behind something? Or, is it buried up at the top of a shelf? Kind of a thing. So like even up here, it looks kind of crowded, but none of these things are very heavy. When I need to get into my fake flowers, I think you can just see them tucked back there. I have access to get to anything I need. I know it's blocked at the moment because of the drying rack, but again, this is portable. This will go away when I'm done and stowed away for storage. But it allows me to maximize the room in here without cluttering up the rest of the house like I was doing. So, like I said, think about form and function for you to make your crafting experience easier and no wear and tear on your arms or worrying about dropping stuff on your head, that kind of a thing. Because it should be in an enjoyable space. And when you find the layout that works for you, then you'll see it's wonderful because now I don't have to think about it. If I need more glue, I know where it is now. If I need more paper, I have all those bins and I know where they are. So just a note, this was the things that I wanted to kind of focus on in that first one that I feel like I just got distracted and I spent, almost 45 minutes talking about the stuff, which is not hard to do because we love our stuff. We like to hoard all the pretties, but we do need to use them, so that is the next goal. So that is my quick update, and don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to go up. So I don't know how much of this might get bleeped out to save time. I try to cut out the excess chatter. So I hope this helps. I hope this is a more direct commentary on when you're getting set up, if you're new or if you're frustrated by the original layout isn't working for you. Here's some things that you think about to restructure your space for working. So that being said, I'm going to sign off now, and I will definitely be seeing you guys soon. All right, take care, everybody.